Well, Michael, a lot of agents right now are working with buyers. I mean, interest rates, as we're filming today, for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage are around 4.8% fixed for 30 years, which is absolutely phenomenal. We have the tax credits that are available for buyers today. We have inventory. We have prices that are the lowest that they've been in years. So it's a prime time right now for buyers to be out there basically, you know, buying their first home or stepping up to the next home and getting a pretty good deal.
Sure.
So a lot of agents are working with buyers, but again, there's a qualification process that goes along with working with a buyer. You mentioned earlier, you know, a buyer doesn't have any financial commitment to the deal up front.
They don't.
They're happy to allow you as their agent to take you and show them 40 houses, 50 houses, 60 houses, whatever it may be before they quote-unquote make up their mind which one they want to buy. Or they may just be stringing you along forever. I mean, who knows? So there's a process that goes along with properly qualifying and working with a buyer as well. What are some of the practical techniques about working with buyers?
Well, again, John, it goes back to making sure that you're working with someone who meets certain criteria that you have as the real estate professional. But again, this goes back to a series of questions in the qualifying process that we'll be happy to share with any of our clients and people who are interested in just understanding this process. But it goes back to, again, sometimes asking very difficult questions, but doing a phenomenal job probing that buyer to find A, motivation, but B, you know, asking questions like, John, have you driven by any homes that you like in the ABC neighborhood that are, maybe they're not even on the market, but you'd be interested in purchasing if they did come on the market? You know, really going deep, because it, again, it allows you to probe deeper into what that buyer's needs are. But even here's where we take it even one step further, is we ask the question, and we all need to be asking this question, which is, John, when I show you 5 to 7 homes that meet all of your and Eileen's criteria and meet all of your needs, will you be prepared to write an offer and begin the negotiation process?
That's a great question, because if they say no, what does that tell you?
I'm not taking them out.
There you go.
It's
Because
as
they're not
simple as
really
that.
serious about purchasing a home.
They're not serious about purchasing a home.
Well, they're not ready, whatever.
Or they're not ready. And here's the thing, if they say yes, because I get this a lot, I bring this up when we talk about this on coaching calls, is that if they say yes and then we take them out and we find those 5 or 7 homes, and I'll stress that point in a second and why 5 to 7, but understand if we take them out and then they say, well, we're not ready, we have to be able to put the brakes on and come back to them and say, okay, John, time out. When I sat down with you Tuesday at 4, we discussed, and you said you were ready to write the offer when we found 5 to 7 homes that met all your criteria. You identified 2 of the 5 today, you said you loved them. Why are we not writing that offer? And more importantly, what has specifically changed? Has something changed? Now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to allow them to change their mind, but only once. Because if they keep doing that, guess what? You become a taxi cab. Now, I made the point a few minutes ago, and I said 5 to 7 homes. Maybe some people who are watching this are going, well, I have to show people 10, 20, 30 homes.
We hear that all the time.
All the time. The bottom line is this. The better job you do qualifying and finding out specifically what that buyer wants in a property, you don't have to show them any more than 5 to 7
So,
homes.
Michael, that was where I was going to go next, because you said, when we show you 5 to 7 homes that meet all of your criteria. So obviously, before asking them that question, you have found out what their criteria is. And you have a key phrase that you and I have role-played quite a bit on coaching calls and in front of audiences about something like, and you can clarify this for everyone, something about if I were to find you the perfect home, what would it look like or something like that?
Well, my question,
every buyer you ask this
well,
question.
absolutely, and every buyer I ask this question to, which is, you know, Michael, when you find that perfect home, it would have, and then I let them answer it.
So it would have a 2-car garage, it would have 2.5 baths, it would be on a ½ acre of land, it would be walking distance to the playground and to the schools, it would have a kitchen no older than 10 years old, it would have updated bathrooms, and it would have 3 bedrooms. Right? I mean, literally, that much detail, even more, right?
That much detail and even more, because if they have an idea of what that perfect home is, and their price range is $250,000, but they're giving me things in that they want in that home that might say, well, you know, you're not going to get that for $250,000. You're talking about potentially now a home that, you know, you're going to have to pay $300,000 or $310,000 for. I might share that with them, and you know, and if they can financially do it, obviously talk about that. But if they can't, I want to understand that, because I want to set the clear expectations up front. Great, John. Thank you for sharing that with me. And as I do my research, we're gonna find those homes that meet all of your needs. Now, once I find those, I might say to you, John, you know, based on the price points you're in, you shared with me you'd like to be on this much land. For the price you're spending, we're only gonna get this much. Is that okay? See, I'm doing all of that
Qualifying
upfront before I even put them in my car to show them on property.
Michael, this is so critical because we hear, when we're traveling, we hear so often agents come up to us and say, the buyers are just running me ragged. And I'm showing them 15 properties, 20 properties. I'm working 70 hours a week, and I just can't seem to get them to make a decision to buy. But you know something? That's because they weren't properly qualified up front in the first place, I would think.
Well, it's because they're not properly qualified in the first place, and there's one other component to that, John. It's when they are deciding to work with that buyer, they are not clearly defining the expectations that they have of the buyer and that the buyer would have as the real estate professional. So one of the documents we use in our coaching process is called a mutual working agreement, which is an opportunity for me to say to you, John, in working with me, please understand when we go out and look at property, we're going to look at no more than 5 to 7, maybe 10 homes. Isn't that awesome? Because we want to be not wasting a whole lot of time. And if the buyer says to me at that point in time, excuse me, you know, well, I want to go see 20 or 30 homes, I know right then and there I can put the brakes on, and I need to be doing some better questioning. Because if I have someone who wants to go look at those, I'm most likely not the right realtor for them.
You know, Michael, you know that we have a client that went for 18 consecutive months without showing more than 2 properties to a buyer before they put an offer in.
Correct.
Now, it's a little different right now. Typically, it's 3 to 4 homes before they put the offer in.
Sure.
And some people are saying there's absolutely no way that can happen. Well, it does happen, and it happens every day if you're using the proper methodologies and techniques that we're giving our clients in our coaching programs and in our seminars. Because, listen, again, this is a business, Michael. You've talked several times now about making business decisions, about whether or not we're, as the business owner, as the agent, whether or not we're making money or not. If we show somebody 20, 30, 40 houses, if our average commission isn't significantly higher than the cost and time that we put into that transaction, we're losing money, and that means eventually we're going out of business.
Well, it means we're going out of business, and John, it goes back to the realtor's choice. It's their choice whether or not they want to show 5 to 7 homes or 15 to 30 homes. Because, again, it's their choice. And the bottom line is this: they don't have to show more than 5 to 7 homes, maybe 10 at the outside, you know, based on that client's criteria. But that's it.